Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today I'm going to get into a couple of my own personal stories and some things that I've been noticing over all these letters and stories that have been coming in, and I've had the privilege to read and give advice to people out there. And if you watch my channel regularly or you're going through a breakup right now, this is actually these two videos coming up, this one and the next one I'll make. I think they're really important, and over time, I'm learning from you also. I'm learning about patterns that a lot of people are going through in a breakup, things that people aren't really seeing on the surface. And it's so important, this first step where you just write your story out and get in touch with what you believe happened, what's going on, and how we're going to move forward. And that's basically my mission, my focus. I'm here for you. I'm reading your story, non-biased, objectively. When we do a live coaching, we get a little deeper, we get closer, we get more into the roots of what's going on, and you're able to pour out everything that's gone wrong and on and on. But the goal, the mission is to get you to move forward. The mission is to get you in the present and where are we headed in the future, okay? And it's a difficult thing to do, by the way, to get into that mode. It's really difficult because if you've been together with someone for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, or you had a hot and heavy long distance relationship for 6 months, it's hard to just go into, oh yeah, I'm going to move forward, I'm going to move on. That's why in a live coaching, when you talk to me for, a lot of times the live coachings go on for 2 hours. A lot of times the first time. And quite frankly, they go over 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and sometimes we've just got to stop. But you need to pour out all that stuff that you're feeling, all those blames, everything like that. But once you get that done, now we got to take the next step. We've identified what went wrong, and we got to learn from it. We got to figure out, all right, where are we going to head from there? And I'm going to just give you a 5 bullet point thing. Thing doesn't sound very sophisticated, but 5 bullet points of where to start. And I mention these in my videos all the time, and some people keep coming back to, well, he did this or she did that, she's this, she's that, she's a cheater, she's rotten. And that's fine. I've been there. I've done the blame game. I've been a victim. And at some point, something's going to spark, and you're going to go, shit, I want to start moving on. I want to move forward all of a sudden. So I wrote some things down, and I want to get into that. And let me just start by numbering these off, okay? And then I'm going to get a little deeper into it. Like I said, this is important. Take some notes on this or watch this again. So I'm going to break down exactly what I did coming out of my worst breakup and things that I think are important and simple to put into action, but for some reason people create their own roadblocks in the mission. Number 1, no contact in most cases. I'd say I still need to read your story and identify, oh, well, this might be a different case where you can actually contact them and whatnot. But in most cases that I come across, no contact is best. So in my own relationship that was a really bad breakup and was really hard on me, I'm only relating the one that, like many of you out there, I had a lot of trouble with it. It took me a year to get back to normal and feeling really good. I mean, when I say it took a year, each month, I'd say 3 to 4 months, but I was in that relationship for 4.5, 5 years living together most of the time. So it was really deep-rooted relationship that was hard to break. So I was advised by a close friend to do this immediately, but I also wanted to do this because I wasn't someone that was going to beg or plead. I'm not saying I'm a tough guy or anything like that. That's just the way I hold my feelings anyways as a person. So for me, I never wanted to appear weak-hearted in her presence. And I was angry, and I had given an ultimatum that didn't go in the direction I wanted. So my particular relationship, when I broke up, it was an ultimatum. It was building up. We were having big problems. I knew it was coming. There were some things that were unacceptable that I was accepting, and I was letting go. And so it was going to erupt, and it was going to happen anyways. And when I gave the ultimatum, I thought it was going to go my way, and it didn't. So for me, what are you going to do after, basically what was happening is she's going out a lot, she's drinking a lot, she's obviously hanging out with other guys. I don't know that she's doing anything. I still had some trust there, but I basically said, you have to stop all that. You can't be doing this anymore. And it was a big fight, and it was like, well, I'm not going to do that. Bam. That wasn't what I was thinking. I thought it was going to be like, well, I'll work on it, this or that. No, she was done too. She said, I want to go out and party. I want to have a good time. I'm young. So for me, it was at that point, what am I going to say? You know, for me, it wasn't like a beg or plead, but I did have a couple moments where I was like, I didn't cry, but I was like, God, I'm so weak. I don't think this is right. You know, I had a couple moments, and then the next 2 days later, we talked on the phone, and I was quivering a little in the voice, but that was it. That was it. Now I became a little bit angry, a little upset, and frankly, honestly, hurt, deeply hurt. And I still had a feeling like, oh, maybe she'll call me or this, but I thought maybe this is done because we didn't do breakups. We didn't break up on and off. We had a really good relationship. So for us to end it, it was a significant step in that direction. And we were both the kind of people that wouldn't play that game where it was like, oh, I still like you. She was a highly secure person. It wasn't, you know. And also at this point, this is 13 years ago or something. I can't recollect the amount of years, but it was a while back. It was maybe it was 10 years ago. Facebook was just starting to get popular, so Facebook wasn't as big as an issue as it is now. Let alone you got Twitter, you got all these other ones. What's the other one? Snapchat, right? So for me to basically go on Facebook, and she was just getting on Facebook. Immediately, I defriended her. I noticed that friend requests were new friends that were all guys busted in on her Facebook, and I immediately just dropped that because I was like, I can't see that. So I pinpointed that right away. Where a lot of people right now, that's one of they're like, yeah, I'm in no contact, but I'm still on her Facebook. But we're like, there's all these little side rules to the social media game. My advice is to cut it. If it's hurting you, it's not serving you, and you're going to create a story based on those pictures and what's going on, and you really don't know. And if you create some kind of negative story, she took a picture with a guy at work, and all of a sudden you think she's dating that guy, she's possibly sleeping with him. Oh yeah, I always knew she liked him. What does that do for you? You guys are broken up. You have no right. And it's just, you just created a story out of the air. That could have just been a friend of hers. So I'll take it a step further. Within that same week, some of her close friends, there were friends of mine that I knew for years, were posting things on Facebook. Not all of them, but a couple of them that were her party friends is what I would call them. And the things that they were, like one particular one, I don't know the details, I can't remember, but it was basically talking to another friend about how they were going to hook her up with some other guys and how she needed to meet someone new. And I read that, and it just was, I was pissed. Instead of commenting or getting revenge, I just defriended him. I just was like, I can't look at this. This is just going to drive me fucking nuts. So I would suggest any friend ties that you can kind of do some back channel things with. And a lot of people, like I said, you're going to go, well, some people have told me it's immature to cut someone from Facebook that you broke up with. In most cases, I disagree. You're doing it for yourself. You are now broken up with the person. Do you really want to be Facebook friends after you've been boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband and wife and tracking them? Your relationships has completely changed. And now you're like, oh yeah, I could just be a casual friend on Facebook. It's just going to hurt you in most cases. So please think about that and go all in on that no contact. So I also deleted her phone number because a lot of times now we do not memorize phone numbers like we used to because they're just programmed in our phone. Correct me if I'm wrong. When I was a kid, when I was 10 years old, I knew my phone number by heart. So once I deleted her phone number, I really couldn't remember what the number was. And I did that within a week. So I didn't have any urges to call because I would have had to call someone else and get her phone number. So that's how I want to get deeper. It's not just no contact, I'm not going to call them, but I've said this before, if you're going on a diet, right, you don't want ice cream in the fridge. What does that mean? Like, you don't want foods that are bad for you sitting in the fridge waiting for you when you're hungry. You don't buy that stuff, right? You don't want to be tempted, and that's what Facebook does, or one of these things does when you have, oh, I'm just going to take a quick peek, and then you're on there for an hour, and like I said, you're putting together some kind of story that you don't even know is true, and it's not going to serve you, it's hurting you. So that's number one, okay? And like I said, there's some exceptions to the rule of no contact, but for the most part, most of the stories I come across, And then everyone wants to know, well, how long? And when are they going to call me back? That's not how it works. You need to be going into that working on yourself. So the next step to that, okay, the next step to that is, and I've said this ad nausea, get into a regular exercise routine. Oh, yeah, no, I've heard of that. Are you doing it? And I don't care what it is. It could be running, walking. Running and walking, I always suggest. I've said it in other videos because you can do it anywhere, anytime. Maybe not in the snow, but depends on you. And it's present moment. And if you're in your room, you're sitting down, and your mouse wheel's running, and you're really depressed, you can get outside and immediately go on a run, put some music in, or go for a walk, and combat that. Is it going to cure anything? No, but it's going to help immediately. It's a quick fix. Now, what I would also suggest, if you already have something you do when you regularly exercise, you need to maybe pick up something new, because right now I want you to spark change. I'm going to do some new things. I broke up with someone that I've been with for a long time, and a lot of routines and feelings and programs that I've been running on, literally, have now been crushed. So I should be trying some new things, not just to get my interest, but to change my cycle. So I've said this before in another video, but I think 300 videos up, so you might not have seen this. I always used to play basketball at noon. I was a real estate agent, so at noon I was able to play an hour to 2 hours of basketball 3 to 4 days a week. That was in my schedule. Great group of guys, all different ages. When I broke up, I show up to the courts, and they all knew. I'm a pretty enthusiastic, outgoing guy, and especially playing basketball. And when I say enthusiastic, sometimes I'm arguing this and that. And if you know when someone's got a bad breakup, it's like a funeral. It's like, you all right, Mac? Everything okay? So I had to explain what happened to everyone. And these aren't even like your best friends. These are casual friends from the gym. So I was reliving it, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And everyone's like, oh, I've been through the damn, man, you know. And they got girlfriends and this and that. And it was nice, but I didn't want to go there for that. I wanted to go there to play ball, but I also just couldn't shake that feeling. So then I just said, it wasn't that I was upset with those guys, but I'm like, look, at 8 to 9 o'clock at night, it's really tough for me, because that's the time at night we'd watch TV or have a chat or, you know, have dinner. That was our time to kind of socialize and talk about our day, and I was really having trouble with that. So I joined a 24-hour gym that had a basketball gym. So I could go play basketball at 8 or 9 o'clock with a completely new group of people I've never met before that aren't going to ask me any questions, and I'm just going to get out there and play. And also maybe I'm going to try to lift some weights and do something different in my routine. And then I'll come home about 10:30, tired, sweating, ready for bed, and I'm so exhausted that I don't even have it in me to think. Another thing I did is, instead of watching what TV shows we used to watch or something like that, I started reading a book or doing something like that, and the book would be something feel good. So take that a step further besides the exercise routine. Get out of your house, and one of the things I did personally, I went to libraries. I wanted to go somewhere quiet, safe, and comfortable, and I also was doing some reading, and at the time I had roommates in the house, and every time I saw my roommates, I could tell they were also in that mode of, hey, you doing all right? You know, like they knew I was sad and upset, so it made it worse. And sometimes it doesn't serve you when people want to feed into, yeah, you're really having a tough time right now. You know, it's better to be like, hey, man, let's go out and get some pizza. Let's go out and do this. Like, you're feeding the beast in some sense, feeding the beast of sadness. So changing your routine and definitely incorporating exercise in different ways. And those are things that I actually did myself. And the library was a little sanctuary for me, and I'd go to different libraries, as crazy as that sounds, for me personally. So continue showing up for work and going out of your way to help people. So in my particular case, this was difficult because I was a real estate agent. Things were really slow. I didn't have a workplace like most people have where they go 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. and they're required to be there. But the bottom line is, if you like your job, that's a plus. Put a little bit more time into it. Put a little more time and effort into it. And when you're at work, how are you going to grow? How are you going to get better at this job? Put a little bit more emphasis on that. How you can be better at work, because you have control over that right now. You just keep showing up for that job or that purpose at that time. So Another thing I would add to this, or we can make it a separate point. We can make this number 4. So just to recap, stay in no contact, including social media. Number 2, regular exercise routine and shake it up. If you've never done Zumba before, do Zumba. If you've never done yoga before, do yoga. Challenge yourself and do it at a different time of day that combats your worst times of missing your ex. Makes a lot of sense. Now do it. Number 3, continue showing up for work and putting a lot of effort into getting better at work. If you don't like your job, we'll talk about that at the end of this. Okay, that's a separate thing, and we'll close that loop later. Now, the next thing, number 4, is what I would say. Reconnect with old friends, okay? And if they make an effort to go out with you, go out. If they say, I'm going to my sister's has a graduation party, come over, and you usually didn't, maybe that was a distant friend the last couple of years, they're making an effort with you, go. Yeah, you're sad, you're upset, just go. Make an effort. You can leave early if you want, but you've got to get out of the house. And when I was going through this, I remember thinking like, I don't really want to go out with them. And then I would spend time while I was out with them. I would spend time pouring my feelings out. And at one point, one of my good buddies, and they share their little breakup stories. Is like, you got to get over this. But he was making an effort, and you kind of see who your really good friends are. But looking back, it's not that those friends are really good friends. It's that they've been through it, so they relate. The friends that can't really relate are like, damn, he's been sad for way too long. I had one friend of a friend. We're all watching football and stuff, and I'm down and out. And he had a girlfriend come back to him 3 weeks later, so he just thought that's how it was, and that's how it works. And he did X, Y, Z to do that. So why was I so upset? Kind of thing. Didn't really help me out. So go out with those friends. And then the next level to that, besides friends, let's say you got a date. Someone sets you up on a date. Go out on dates and have no expectations. Go out on these dates, just going out on dates. And if they're going to be bad dates, fine. You got a story to tell your friends outside of your ex, and you just eliminated someone else. And don't talk about your past relationship, but you just need to get out there and just go out with some. Go out with other women. Socialize with them. Or if you're a female out there, go out with other men. Go out with friends that are men. And have a cup of coffee. And what happens is people naturally compare that past relationship. Oh, I went out on this date. I just can't stop thinking about my ex. Well, you're comparing a relationship you had for years or months with someone you just met that you're not even giving a chance to. And that's okay. From the get-go, you can identify like, yeah, we're not a good match. It's actually really bad timing also is what it is. But you're out there, you're getting involved, you're creating new experiences. And from that date, from those outings with your friends, something might spark something new for you to look forward to that's outside a new relationship. And that's something I'm going to come back to. But you need to create a goal that somehow sparks something compelling in your future that you're looking forward to. And I'm going to get back to that. So this is something else I recommend. Consider going to a hypnotherapist or create a mantra where you tell yourself, I'm moving on, I'm moving forward, I'm getting better, I'm doing the best I can. So the hypnotherapist I went to in San Francisco, I've talked about this in a couple other videos again, the violin plays. I went in there thinking that I'm going to pour out my feelings. I've never been to a psychiatrist or anything like that. I said for 10 minutes, he goes, all right, well, let's see what we want to let go of. Creates a 15-minute mantra like a mantra. And she says, listen to this morning and night every day. And within 2 or 3 weeks, it helped reprogram my brain. Now with the internet and YouTube, you can look stuff up like this ad nauseam. You can look up guided meditations, but look into the spiritual side and look into how neuroscience works and how to reprogram your brain. And hypnotherapy is a big one. So that's one I would strongly suggest. And be aware of your self-talk and redirecting it. If you don't do that, then read a couple books on that. Dr. Joe Dispenza is one of my favorite. Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's got numerous books. He's all over YouTube. Maybe I'll put it in the notes below. I really like him. But he just talks about how your brain actually works and how you can reprogram it in different ways. And that's really your problem. You're programmed to love someone and that they're going to be there all the time and their familiarity and their safety, and then they're gone. It's just hard for you to deal with. Your brain's like, where am I going to fill this void? But like I said, follow these things. No contact, exercise routine, keep showing up for work or school or your purpose. Next up, look for, like I said, a hypnotherapist, or create a mantra or an outside source that can help you. Maybe you need to go to counseling to talk about your past problems. If you're one of those people that's like, oh, I'm just a jealous person, how are you going to address that and start taking care of that? Do you want to be a jealous person? Oh, I've gained a lot of weight over the years, and that's why my boyfriend broke up with me. How about going on a diet today? Here's the part that people don't like. And I found this, and I was in the same boat. Same exact boat. I'm with you 100%. It doesn't happen right away. This is compounding interest. All these things, you got to do them over a period of time, and then it gets a little bit better. It gets a little bit better. It's like this, and then it goes like this, and then it goes like this. It doesn't go like that. It doesn't. You're not all of a sudden better. Now, some people say, oh, well, you just meet someone else. Yeah, that's possible. That's Hollywood. That's the movies. Is it possible? Yeah. But in most of the cases I see, or about half, it doesn't usually work out that way. So you really need to work on yourself. Now, number 5 or number 6, I might have mentioned something in between there. Excuse me. Take some time to consider a compelling future. What is something you've always wanted to do, but you didn't have the money, or your partner wasn't on board to do that? Or you just didn't have the guts to do it, or it wasn't the right timing. Right now, you're feeling like shit, you're depressed, you're upset, you got nothing to lose. The only thing you can do is feel better. So why not go, you know what, I've always wanted to take a backpacking trip around Polynesia, the Polynesian Islands. Someone just told me that recently. Wow, that's a good, well, I don't have the money. Could you save up, this much money every month, and then get online and start looking at those islands and start thinking about, oh, if I was there, and maybe I can go for a month. And then all of a sudden you'll meet someone that's got a friend of a friend, and they'll go, oh yeah, my friend's been to Polynesia a couple times. Maybe I'll put you in contact with them. And then all of a sudden these circuits start opening up, and you're like, holy shit, I can actually go there. And it's something that you can do outside of your relationship. It's something that you can look forward to and work towards and get excited about. It's so important. And I think moving somewhere new is a good one, because whenever you move somewhere new, everything's fresh, but traveling is. But it could be a financial goal, it could be a work goal. And I've talked about it again in my videos, not to say it again, but mine was, went out on a date. It was a bad date with a Japanese woman that was a teacher in California, and she told me, well, why don't you teach over in Japan? I always wanted to be a teacher. It was always on my mind, but I always was like, oh, they don't get paid enough, or this or that. I made all these excuses. I thought, wow, this is an opportunity to go straight into teaching for a year and travel and go somewhere. Started going on the internet that night. For the next month, I researched the hell out of it, got excited about it, and then went, actually, I don't want to go to Japan. I want to go to Thailand and live on that beach. Ooh, and then I coordinated with my head. I'm like, the movie The Beach with Leonardo DiCaprio, that's one of my favorite movies. I want to live near there. I want to live at that place. And suddenly everything seemed possible, and it didn't seem so gloomy about my ex. It didn't seem like there was no hope. I still missed her. I still had bad days. I still didn't meet someone to replace her, but I had something else on my mind. And then when I talked to friends, it was like, yeah, I think I'm going to, it started out like, I'm thinking about moving to Thailand and doing teaching for about a year. Friends were like, laughing at me, right? And it just started out like that. I did more and more research, and then all of a sudden I went, bam, I committed. I signed up for a 1-month program for a school. I did my research, and I said, I'm going. And everyone still was laughing and didn't believe it. Within a few months, 9 months out of the relationship, I booked a flight, I went over there, and then years later, I lived on that island near where the movie The Beach has been filmed. I got the job that I wanted as far as teaching at the university level. And it's been great. It's been great. And that was sparked by being in a breakup. I would have never made that move. And I'm going to take this one step further. And that's why this is an important fucking video. I'm going to get really serious with you. This is an opportunity. This is a starting gate when you get in a breakup to go into a whole other life that you didn't imagine before. I would have never took that shot. I would have never, that would have been like, yeah, well, I got a girlfriend, I got this, that. I would have never took that shot. And once I got my first day of teaching, I took a stroll down a country road in Thailand. I remember feeling like, this just feels great. Like everything I had imagined. And that's why finding something to look forward to. And the beauty of it now is on the internet, you could research it. So it's not like you just have to imagine it. You can go, all right, you know, like I want to move, like I said, backpacking in Polynesia or South America. I could research the hell out of that planet. And then maybe it's 6 months away, but you got something to look forward to. When you get to that place, you're going to go, wow, I did that. And you probably wouldn't have done that had you not broken up. So I hope that helps you think about these things. Number one, stay in no contact, including all social media platforms. I don't want to hear like your excuses why you can just keep them on Facebook because of an emergency, or just say happy birthday or something like that. That, for the most part, like I said, you're doing a soft stalk is what I call it. You're not stalking them in person, but you're social media stalking, and it's not healthy usually for you moving forward. Number two, get your regular exercise. Oh yeah, you always say that. Are you doing it? I would even double down on exercise. And I didn't add meditation or yoga are great. I didn't do those. I wasn't willing to do those at the time. And getting sun, getting some kind of 15 or 20 minutes of sun really helps out as far as making you happy, in a good mood. Getting outside is a big one, okay? So, number three, continue showing up for work and doing the best you can in that job. If you're able to help people in some way at work, be kind to people. At the coffee shop, say thank you. You know, tell someone they got a nice shirt on. Practice being nice, even when you're upset, even when you're mad, and it'll be reciprocal. It'll help you out. Go out with friends. So I can put this in number four. Make sure, if your friends are asking you to go do something with them that sounds semi-interesting, even if you don't like it, it's not something you want to do, get out of the house. Expose yourself to new experiences. You're looking to change because you have no choice but to change. Your life's changed suddenly. Number five, consider going to a hypnotherapist or create a mantra. And if you're not comfortable, just do some research on it, on hypnotherapy. I mentioned Dr. Joe Dispenza as someone to read about neuroscience and how the brain works, and how to work on transforming. If you're obsessed with your ex right now, how do I get out of that mode and get back on deck and be myself again? And number five or number six, I'm not sure. Take some time to consider a compelling future goal, a compelling thing that you really want to do, like you want to create, somewhere you want to go, somewhere you want to be that you never thought was possible or was far-fetched. Do some research on it, make it real, and then go, wait a minute, I'm going to commit to this. And it's completely outside of your ex and them coming back, or you finding a new lover, or you finding a new relationship. This is something that's all you. Does that make sense? Are you with me on that? And if you got something out there in this particular video, make a comment about what you want to do. I want to challenge anyone that's been watching this video all the way through. It's a long video. Let's see how 27 minutes. If you're here right now, make a comment and tell me, I've always wanted to do this. Put it in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I hope this helps. And this is an important video. I would consider watching again, and I hope you took some notes on this one. All right. Have a good one.